Hey everybody, it's Trevor Nelson with a friendly reminder to make sure that you subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. We really hope you enjoy the episode. Thanks so much.
That this is a really effective strategy to raise a lot of money with minimal effort. And I'm not going to say there's no effort, because that's not true. We know that. Every time, oh, that's easy. It's not at all, as everybody here knows, and Sammy's very well aware of this. So Sammy, why don't you tell us just what your thoughts are when you think about the golden ticket?
We've been doing it for many years now and have tried very different strategies. We have got over ambitious. Probably our first year, we tried to sell 300 tickets, and that was way too much. We've done a lower price, a higher price, and just kind of found what works for our audience. Really, for us, the kicker is starting early and selling tickets before we get to the event. Then it's not taking away from your night of money. Obviously, sell whatever's left at the event, but the most successful years that we've had have been the ones where we are pushing it out to our database, to our donors, to their friends, everybody before the event.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, let me ask you a quick question, Sammy, while you're talking about that. Sorry, Jay. Just to cut in there. How far in advance do you all do it? I mean, what after testing it for a few years, like, give the audience your take on that.
So we have a different event, a smaller event, a casino night in April. So we try not to overlap with the casino night. Typically, as soon as that event closes out, then we'll start soliciting for Purple Sash. So generally, about a month and a half to 2 months, probably more, a month and a half. We'll
45,
start
60
pushing
days.
it out. We give it to our board. We send it to our database.
Love it.
And then obviously just a bigger push as we get closer.
Yeah.
So some of you may be wondering, okay, tell us what the golden ticket strategy is.
Yeah, we probably should do that. Yeah.
So let me tell you, so we call it the golden ticket trifecta. And that's just what we do. Sammy has done it in various ways, and everybody we work with has maybe a little different spin. They'll do it. The golden ticket, you don't have to call it the name. You guys call it the purple ticket a couple of times.
I love the branding.
Because there are events called Purple Sash. So what it is that basically you're going to sell 100 tickets. You're going to sell an item that's significant, have something that's got value to it. So you're going to sell 100 tickets. That value, we typically say $100, $200, $250. We like $100 or $250. And then you're going to get it underwritten. So if there's a cost, you want to get somebody to underwrite that. So that's one side of the pyramid. The other side is to sell 100 tickets. And finally, if you want to, Sammy's going to talk to us about why they don't. But then you can auction it off as a surprise auction item. We see that done a lot. And so people take one item basically and raise thousands of dollars in a very short period of time. And it works really well. I mean, it's just something that's kind of there. So, Sammy alluded to something about being ambitious. Talk to us about, because we always advocate for 100 tickets. So talk to us about how you guys got ambitious and how it turned out.
So the first year we did it was before you had HGA. So you were not my lead person to advise us. And our committee just felt like, oh, this is such a great idea to raise money. We can absolutely sell. At that year, we were doing them for $200. And they were like, we can definitely sell 300 and we can raise all this money. And
that's a lot.
Yes, it was a lot. We sold 146. And when the auctioneer was trying to sell it at the event, trying to sell more, it got very awkward. And because we're so far from our goal and was pushing, and it did not work well, and we definitely steered clear from
which
that
it was a failure of the goal, but you raised like you
I was gonna say that's still a win.
$29,000. I mean, it was a lot of money raised.
Yeah, for sure.
But here's the reason why we like to say 100 tickets, because that way from the very beginning you can say, we're going to sell 100 tickets. We're only selling 100 tickets. We're going to raise $10,000. We're going to raise $25,000, whatever the number is. You're going to be a part of it, and you get a chance to win, something that's worth $7,000, $8,000 or $5,000 or something like that, whatever it may be. And so I think that's the the caveat is you want to have a win. You want to be able to celebrate the win, because that's a great way to start your live auction. We always recommend to do it in the first part. People do it different ways. Again, you don't even have to have a benefit to do it. You mean we people have people do it at golf tournaments. They do
You
it
can do it online.
do it online. They do it all
Yeah.
kinds of different ways. But it's basically just a raffle strategy, but it's a very tuned in. Like a lot of raffles, it's unlimited. We're going to sell as many tickets as we can. But then you're like, well, what are you trying to do?
Yeah.
This is a really good way, because you're telling them what you're going to do. We're going to raise, we're going to sell 100 tickets for $100. We're going to raise $10,000.
Yep. I love that. I love the scarcity, that there's only so many tickets available. I love the supply and demand. I think that bodes really, really well for the psyche of donors and folks that are willing to participate. But Sammy, I mean, I think I already know the answer probably, but what are y'all doing now as far as, like, we cap it at 100 tickets after testing it for a couple of years? Like, this is what we do and this is what works.
So we've kind of found our sweet spot is that $250 per ticket, and we cap it at 100.
No, it's perfect though. But you're raising $25,000. I think it's amazing. Yeah, that's a huge win. I love that. Jay, do you want to talk about like different options for the golden ticket?
Well, what I want to do is I want
like
to talk about the underwriting first, because we obviously have a product we sell, and so there may be, whether it's ours or something else that you guys have, there may be a cost to it. And what we always suggest is doing the underwriting. So talk to us about the first time you guys went out and you guys got a sponsor for it.
So we had a specific sponsor in mind for us that we knew had already said, hey, we can't attend this year. They didn't really want to do a sponsorship if they weren't going to attend, because our sponsorships include tickets. That's really what they're for. And so we presented this idea like, hey, we have this raffle. We're trying to get the cost of it covered, so it's all profit. And they bumped their sponsorship from a $2,000 to a $4,000, and it covered everything, and they've been really supportive since then. We originally came up with some marketing materials to where we could ask multiple people, saying this is what you get if you sponsor this golden ticket, and benefits. And we really just lucked out that this one sponsor has been great and wants to do it. And so we haven't had to do a ton of marketing for it, but it gave them what they wanted in not attending the event and still being able to support and knowing that they were covering the cost of something specific.
That was so impactful, that could raise that much money. I mean, when you're talking to a sponsor, a supporter like that, I mean, it's such a huge pitch, I suppose, right? And just explanation. What have you done, just get in the weeds a little bit, Sammy, with that particular sponsor, underwriter for the golden ticket? Have you given them okay, this is the golden ticket presented by organization XYZ, or any kind of branding for them, or any suggestions about that kind of stuff?
So our original goal was, yes, to do in our kind of marketing pitch we had was going to be a very specific, this is for the golden ticket sponsor on our marketing materials and our program in the PowerPoint, all the things. This particular sponsor didn't necessarily want the individual recognition. So we kind of just looped them in at one of our sponsor levels, and they get recognized as a general sponsor. So it worked out for us. We didn't have to do anything extra, but our plan originally was to do some extra, hey, this is a golden ticket sponsor, to give them some extra PR.
I love that.
I think that brings up a really good point. I think that we get caught up sometimes and we forget who our sponsors are, and I think you would agree with this, Sammy. Some sponsors, they want the spotlight. They really want somebody to see them. They want everybody stand up and cheer. And there's other ones, they'll slide a check under the door and don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Because it's it's a personality change. It's not that they don't, but with the golden ticket from a sponsorship activity, I always tell people all the time, I'm going to use a bank analogy.
Yep.
Banks, or different, there's organizations that, they do multiple events. They'll sponsor multiple events throughout the year, but it's back to what you said, sponsorship. Well, I'm out of town this week, or I'm out of town, or they've got to go and get tickets, but they still want to give to your organization. They want to be part of your mission. And this is a really great way for you to do that, because they're going to get the acknowledgement that, hey, ABC Bank, the golden ticket brought to you by ABC Bank, ABC Bank. So they like that. They want to hear that for especially these corporate sponsors, but individuals as well. But it's okay, because there's other people that don't do that. And imagine whenever you're going to talk to somebody to say, well, look, we've got this really awesome thing. We're going to do a golden ticket. We're going to sell 100 tickets for $250. We're going to raise $25,000. Now we've got a prize that the person's going to win. It's $4,000, and we're looking for somebody to underwrite it. Now, and I know you guys have done this. I'm gonna tell you, because I know Jan sold this and did it. So one year you guys did it, and you had like, I don't remember what it was, and she sold 2 sponsorships for $2,500, and you had it double underwritten. Right.
That's awesome.
And that was one of the things I was going to say. Jan's the executive director or CEO at her organization. And so I know that they made that call. But that's what I mean. Don't limit yourself on just the expense. I mean, it's worth a lot. In this case, they did $5,000. They made more money than what the actual cost was. So don't limit yourself. In fact, on all your underwriting.
Yeah.
If it cost you $1,000, sell it, offer it for $1,500, $2,000. I mean, this is a fundraiser, not just expense cover. Now, sometimes it's what you have to do, and it's still good, but it really means a lot whenever you're telling somebody you're helping raise $25,000. So
yeah. Well, hey, not to get off the topic of the golden ticket, but here we are again talking about and finding our way into sponsorships and underwriting again, and just such a lovely opportunity. I'm going to ask you a question though, Jay, as well, and Sammy, you feel free to answer it as well. But let's just say the item it's donated, and it's a piece of jewelry. I could be letting the cat out of the bag a little bit, but or a watch or something like that. But would you still, even if it was free, for instance, donated, would you still, reach out and give someone the underwriting opportunity?
We do, yes.
Yeah.
Any chance that we can to get more sponsorships.
Perfect.
And we will be completely honest with our donor to say, hey, this year we have a donated item. Would you still like to be the sponsor for this particular thing, golden ticket, whatever it may be? But especially if we've already kind of crafted that ask, we definitely make it again.
Love it.
Because again, it's not about covering expense. It's about raising money. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got a goal to hit. We talk about it every year. You're like, this is how much money I've got to raise.
Yep.
And, I've got to get there, whether it's going to be not just okay, well, we need to raise an extra 100,000. I guess we're going to put 75 more items in the live auction. Well, that's not practical and not going to work. And so how are we going to do that? And I think underwriting is the most underutilized fundraiser. You guys capitalize on it really exceptionally well and have done for quite a while, because how many people attend your event, Sammy?
Post-COVID, the numbers have varied. It used to be 700 people at the event. Now we've kind of gone from 400 to 550. It just kind of depends on the year.
Yeah. I got some questions. I got some questions about that too. Hey, real quick though, I want to actually nudge Bailey. Bailey, could you do us a favor? Could you put up the most recent episode that we did, or webinar that we did about sponsorships and underwriting, just so folks can just get a better grasp and understanding? Because every time we bring it up, and the golden ticket's such a lovely opportunity, because how many times can you give someone a supporter an underwriting or sponsorship opportunity that actually makes the organization a lot of money, right? That has this kind of effect and this kind of opportunity. So we'll put that episode up. Take a look at it when you have a chance, everybody, because it's cool. We just can't stop talking about sponsorships and underwriting, even though we're talking about the golden ticket today. So really good.
Did let the cat out of the bag, but it's a great time to talk about it. So, and this is something that we have clients that'll call us and they'll tell us, we'll start asking about what they've got, and in this case, it came up that, why don't you tell the story about the piece of jewelry?
So with it being our COVID year, we could not go without an event. We had to have one. The way that things shook out for us, we still needed to have an in-person event. And it was later in the year. We were not sure how attended it would be and didn't know that we really wanted to spend the $4,000 on a trip if we were going to have 50 people in the room. Mm-hmm. And at that point, people weren't traveling. We'd done trips the year before. And so we had a really great donor who has a high-end jewelry shop who gave us a ring that was donated, or valued at, I don't know, it was over $8,000.
I was going to say, I remember Jason telling me the story about $8,000.
Well, when we were talking about it, because it was a hybrid event, so we were going to have a small in person. It was also cast out online.
Weren't you there, Jay? Were you there?
I did the auction. I did.
Okay.
I was the. I remember that was pre-retirement. That was pre-retirement.
Yeah.
And so we did this, but I remember we were sitting to have a strategy about it, and we talked about it, had this donation because we were going through it. They're like, "Yeah, I really don't want to do it." And I said, "Well, let's do it with the ring."
Yeah.
Because here's the thing about jewelry. Jewelry's very, it's kind of like a painting.
It's
You could
bespoke.
have, it's just really,
Specific.
it's very specific. And, you know, in this particular piece of jewelry, while quite beautiful, it was not something that everybody was going to do. And I don't, you know, it was going to be limited. We had that limited amount of number. And I was like, I don't think it's ever going to bring $8,000. I didn't have any confidence that we could do that. So to maximize the opportunity, I said, well, let's just use it for the golden ticket.
Yeah.
And so they did, sold it 200. And I tell the story a lot of times. I always say 46 tickets, but Sammy's correcting me. Yeah, you guys actually sold 56 tickets. So it brings over $11,000
Awesome.
for an $8,600 piece of jewelry.
It's awesome.
The winner was ecstatic.
Yeah.
You guys were tickled.
Yeah.
And the lady, the donor who created this, because it was
Over
a
the
custom
moon,
piece of
probably.
jewelry, was over the moon.
Yeah.
And so everybody won in this scenario.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, things like jewelry, I think is always a really good item if you're going to use something like that to do this with, because maybe it's not, you know, you're like, well, I don't know if this deal, and let's say, and it needs to be the right value. I mean, you need to kind of put things in the right value in the right place, you know, for what it is. But, you know, you guys raised a significant amount of money selling 56 tickets, and it worked, you know, and it worked.
And it cost us nothing.
And it cost nothing. Yeah, it was a completely donated item, so you were able to capitalize on it. And that's what we're trying to do, is capitalize on these opportunities. As professional fundraisers, you know, we've got to do that.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening. If you love our podcast, click the download button, rate us, and follow us on social media at HGA Fundraising. Get out there, start fundraising, and raise more money. See you next time.